Hey there, Dave Lindsley with the Umpqua River Lodge Fly Shop. Hey, I'm tying some flies this afternoon, and since we do have a lodge on the Umpqua River with some world-class smallmouth bass fishing, I'm asked quite often, what is the one fly that I can't live without? We like to use a lot of poppers, we use terrestrials, just a variety of different flies to catch fish here on the Umpqua. But if I had to choose one fly for trout, steelhead, smallmouth bass, shad, stripers, whatever I'm fishing for, I would probably choose the brown woolly bugger. I know it's not a sexy fly, but it's a very effective pattern. It's simple to tie. You lose them. They're very cost effective. So we're going to do a demonstration and tie a brown woolly bugger. We're going to use some fire hole sticks. They got a wide gap. And we've also got some fire hole gold tungsten beads that we're going to put on there to get this fly down. So we're using the fire hole 802P stick. I've got a fire hole gold tungsten bead. We've got some chenille that I picked up at a garage sale for about $2.50. We've got some woolly bugger hackle from Perfect Hatch. And then I've got some Perfect Hatch brown marabou for the tail. And then I've just got a Perfect Hatch 3/0 black thread. So very simple, very cost effective. Again, fly fishing and fly tying does not have to be expensive. So let's get to tying this fly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach the bead to our fire hole stick. The nice thing is there's no barbs on any of these hooks. They do have the extra wide gap. So hopefully we get some better hook sets this summer. We're going to put that in our vise. And then I'm just going to wind a little bit of this black thread right up to the bead. And then I'm going to wind it back all the way back to the bend. Right about there. And then the first thing we're going to attach is we're going to get some brown marabou. And we're just going to get a nice bushy little tail of marabou that we want to use. I try and match up my marabou to the hook shank. So about that much is all we really need. And I'm just gonna pinch that. And when I wrap this, I'm gonna take my thread between my index and my thumb, pinch it, drop it down, and then tighten it up. Do a couple wraps, and then just move it up the hook shank. I like to leave some of this marabou on there because it does give you a nice body. It helps with laying the chenille, and it just gives more of a buggy look. And then we're just gonna take this and we're gonna tie it right down to that bead. It also helps hold that bead in place as we tie it up there. Get that down, do a few wraps. Come right back down to the bend. So now, as you can see, we're prepared to put the body and the hackle on. I've got a nice hackle here. What I like to do with my hackle before I put it on and palmer it towards the bead is I'll spread out, just flare out the fibers. It gives a better look on the fly, a lot easier to work with. I tie my hackles in with the tip first. It just gives me a better look. So you want to have your hackle kind of flared out like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off this bottom hackle, and that's going to help me, as you'll see when we get done, on actually tying down this hackle to the fly. So I'm just going to rest this on my hook shank, do a couple turns. And again, I like to tie it all the way down into the bead. Just gives me a more durable fly. We do expect to catch, 30 plus fish on this before we end up having to replace it. Got my hackle in, and then now I'm just going to take my brown chenille. I'm going to strip a little bit of that off so I can expose the thread. You can see the thread's exposed. I'm just going to lay that down on top of the hook shank. Again, index finger and thumb, tighten it down. And then we're just going to tie that thread down. Make sure we've got this tied all the way back. And then I'm going to wind my thread right up to where I'm going to tie it off. Now I'm just going to forward wrap my chenille up the body of this fly. You can see this fly is incredibly easy to tie. It is the most effective fly that I've probably ever fished with. It's not the sexiest because, we're not matching a mayfly hatch or a caddis hatch or anything like that, but we are imitating, it could be a worm, could be a bait fish, a number of different food forms in the river. So we're going to give it a couple turns. There we go. Then we're going to snip that. And then I tie this down a little bit. So there's the body. Now what we're going to do in order to make this finished fly is we're going to palmer this, and we're going to take this hackle and we're going to palmer it the opposite direction. So I did forward wraps. Now I'm going to do backward wraps with the hackle. And I'm just going to slowly wrap it. And as I wrap, you'll see I just kind of brush it back a little bit. Gives me a nice consistent body look. The hackle will actually lay down a little nicer on the fly as you just gently massage it backwards. And we just wrap this right up to the front. There we go. And you can see now that since I did pin back the hackle and I've just got the exposed stem, it's a lot easier to tie that down in the front. You're not dealing with hackle or feathers. You just tie that down, and then all we're doing is snipping that little stem. Then we just add a few wraps. That's a beautiful brown woolly bugger. All we have to do is whip finish it. And I try and do about 5 turns on the whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is our finished brown woolly bugger. Last thing is when I don't cut my thread. What I do is I lean the thread on the scissors and gently touch it. And voila, a little bit of head cement, and there is a beautiful brown woolly bugger that's guaranteed to catch trout, steelhead, also catch smallmouth bass all day. Hope everybody has some tight lines.